conoscenza del prodotto e siamo noi che dobbiamo comunicare al consumatore finale questi progetti, non è il consumatore che li viene a chiedere.
So I was saying that are the brand and the designer that need really to tell loud speaking really to the consumer what is available and our, the proposal, because for the consumer it's very difficult to ask if he doesn't know, what to ask. So it's the brand and retailers' commitment to go toward the consumer.
Well, I think, yeah, to a certain extent I would agree with that, but I also think that the policymakers has a huge role. I mean, let's look at us, right? We represent the fashion industry, and basically who believes in the fashion industry if we were to tell that we are sustainable, right? I mean, just look at, I think very few would actually start to, the credibility of the fashion industry might not be, as high as journalists, for example, or politicians. So that's why I think partnerships are really interesting, to actually work with policymakers around this particular issue. And from a fashion perspective, because fashion is so tangible, right? Forget about all the wind turbines or heat pumps that are, yes, sustainable. Let's talk about the fashion that we can actually touch.
I'd like to ask the audience quite soon if anyone has any opinions where the pressure comes from, who should be responsible for driving this change. There's nobody there, actually. One second, a microphone is arriving. Let's tell us who you are.
Sorry, I'm from Salvador Ferragamo, and I'm doing research and development for materials. I don't so much agree with that, because I don't think we just woke up in the morning and we thought, now let's make sustainable fashion. I think the pressure from the polluting, fashion is very strongly polluting our planet, so I think this is the pressure, and we have to be aware of that. Because if we don't think how much we are polluting, I mean, you have to think how many billion of items are thrown away every year. And I think we have to think about that. And this is the reason we have to really to forward very strongly.
Okay, thank you. Back one more person I'll ask. Okay. Thank you. I'd like to ask it now, Nicola, how important it is for the brands themselves. I mean, do they actually see a commercial advantage? Is that why some of them are showing an interest? Are they simply being nice that they want to go? What do you think? You're representing some of these big brands. You're helping them promote themselves. So what do you think?
Well, they're definitely being nice, that's for sure. I mean, I come myself up actually with the issue of marketing. I come from a purely business background, and I've been told over and over again that it's actually the demand that creates the offer, and the demand simply...
The audience, hands up. Among the audience, hands up who think it's consumers actually driving this demand. And who thinks it's important? Consumers want. Why? Only two. So
consumers are very important, but if you think about it, it's all about the business, the brand, and what he actually wants to sell.
Are they perhaps investing in the future? Will it become more important?
They are investing in the future. There are some, there are a combination of barriers that push businesses into this path, which is, one is, for example, the will to differentiate themselves in a market where it's now very difficult to differentiate. If you think about it, the more designers you add, the more we go on, it's always more difficult to all the sort of brands melt in this sort of area where all seems to be pretty similar. Then there is, of course,
You agree?
I think that, I see a lot of parallels between the fashion movement and the slow food movement. And if you think of how that took hold originally, it was some inspirational chefs and cooks, mostly in Italy, that inspired. There are a number of incredibly inspirational designers doing groundbreaking work with new materials, with rediscovered materials, with traditions, with processes. And that inspiration can drive the consumer demand. It must be design-driven, it must be innovative. And there's incredible work being done out there. It's not being disseminated effectively yet because the bulk of it has been done in the emerging market. So it's not meeting mass response at this stage, but it is a growing market. The slow food market took a very long time to develop from what was a niche market to something where, you know, Whole Foods and people care what they put in their body, whether it's local, whether it's organic, is around the world. That was a process that took years. And fashion is in that process right now. And it's reaching the tipping point, but it's not there yet.
I'd like to bring Rossella into the argument with debate now, because you are